Hello and welcome to Sonic Touch. This is episode 12 of our music applications for touch devices. Primarily iOS at the moment, but we hope to incorporate maybe other operating systems as they become available. It's my host, co-host Gaz Williams, and what are we going to be looking at today, Gaz?
We're going to be looking at Alchemy Mobile, which is the iOS version of the software instrument Alchemy.
That's by Camel Audio, right?
Yes, Camel Audio, indeed.
In fact, that's had a lot of praise from a lot of sort of fairly big names in the industry, right?
BT has said himself that Alchemy is the best synthesizer I have ever used in my entire life. So
that's some claim, right?
Yeah.
But first, some news. So obviously with the WWDC, that's Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference, just finished, there was the announcement of iOS 6 becoming available in autumn. So what does that mean for us?
Well, I think the headline news for us would be that there is inter-app audio support. Now, as far as I'm aware, what that means is, it means that apps running concurrently on the same device can share the audio stream. So for instance, you could be running like something like Loopy and then Animoog or another synthesizer,
and they could access, right,
catch the audio.
Isn't that going to be the same as the what's the thing by the
Audio Bus?
Audio Bus, which we covered in a previous episode.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same.
I think there's a bit of an overlap. I think Audio Bus does offer more functionality. I think they still think that what they're doing is has more sort of a broader functionality. Like for instance, Audio Bus will allow you to
communicate between devices rather than just inter-application.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Also, MIDI Designer Pro, which is the first recipient of our Sonic Touch Gold Award for Best App, has had a major update. Hopefully more on that in a future episode. But first, Gaz is going to take us through Alchemy Mobile by Camel Audio, because that's had a recent update.
Camel have been making software for a while now, and they really have been making some wonderful, highly respected pieces of software. So this is their first attempt to make something, I believe, for the mobile platform. And what they've done is they've basically taken the sound engine of Alchemy and made like a standalone version of it with a limited amount of control and but basically the same audio quality as the full computer software. Now that's expensive software. That is, I think it's £179 for the full Alchemy. So you can imagine that's quite a serious piece of software. So as I say, it works as a standalone synthesizer, and it comes with a bunch of sounds already built in. And some of these sounds are really, really nice. So I'll just play one. This is called Orc Hybrid. And you'll notice on the screen that one of the most interesting aspects is this thing called the remix pad. Now, if I move around the remix pad, we can see the parameters to the left and right here change as I move through. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to morph through a bunch of different settings to get either radical or subtle sort of changes. And then you've got like these two XY pads underneath, which, you know, maybe if we like the sound there, we can just kind of, we can just make small adjustments to it. So, and then.
So that actually sounded really lush in the room, and we're listening to it on the speakers, and you should be having the benefit of hearing a line output as well. Very nice and expressive.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing is that, okay, so as I say, there's not a huge amount of adjustability, but the great thing is you can expand the library with a bunch of different libraries. Now, I can look here, and if I come to my libraries, you know, there's different ones. Like here's a Dubstep Library, and this is great, full of all our kind of nice wobbly kind of bass sounds.
World of Wub.
Yeah, so so you can hear the
again, you know, that sounds like it's substantial sound, isn't it?
Yeah, it's excellent. And I mean, you know, you can hear there, this isn't sort of you know, it's not like a token sort of, right. This sounds like the real deal.
What is the synthesis engine underneath the hood then?
Well, Alchemy uses a whole bunch of different synthesizer elements. It's got like, you know, virtual analog. It's got granular synthesis. It's got you know, sample manipulation. So basically, it covers the whole gamut really. Now you can't get at that side of it from the app. You just literally can bring the sounds in and have a degree of editability. Like, so, you know, we can see that the amount of things we can change, it changes on a per patch basis though. So if I was to...
So these are like kind of macro level controls, but so you can write a patch on the full software and load it into here, right?
So you can, with the free version, do plenty of things. You can sort of manipulate the sounds, you can expand it with the libraries with the free version. But if you want to use it in a deeper form, then I really recommend going for the Pro upgrade. The Pro upgrade lets you record and export sounds, so you can make your own loops, and it also lets you have more control. You can put like a pitch bend, and you can adjust the polyphony and a whole bunch of things which are kind of useful. But the main thing of the Pro version is that it turns Alchemy into a remote control surface. It allows you to control the desktop version of the software. So
it'll be a standalone synthesizer as well as integrating with the desktop.
Yes.
That's kind of interesting because, was it Spectrasonics?
Yeah, the Omnisphere app is just simply a controller. It doesn't work on its own. But Alchemy's nice in that you can use it as a sound source, as a synthesizer, and also you can use it then as the controller for the software.
Could you just play a few more sounds?
Yeah, of course. So I come here, I can come out of my libraries, and let's have a look in cinematic. The pads are really great, as we've heard before, but some of these soundscapes are really cool too. So we'll take like one just at random, and then I get a use this act as a hold key now. That's great, frees my hands up to... So every sound you can really explore and find all sorts of interesting textures and tones.
Is that multi-touch there? Is that happening?
No, it's not actually. It's kind of going in between.
Wow. Are you able to store your own settings in those 8 locations with this software?
No. No, they literally are sort of preset to sort of
whatever the patch designer.
Yeah, as I say, it is on a per patch basis. You know, so as I change patches, we'll see that the parameters change, and you know, I think they're quite intelligently sort of move through interesting places.
Oh, stop sending me off to another world, I guess. So you were going to show us how it integrates with the desktop, right?
Yes, yes. So here's the desktop version of the software, and we can see that there's a lot more parameters on there. But if I turn it into the simple mode, then it's pretty much the same.
Oh yeah, I can see the 8 pads.
Yes. So what I need to do with the iPad is I need to tell the iPad that it is now going to be the controller for the desktop version. And the way we do that is we go into the libraries, which seems maybe not the most obvious thing, but from one of the libraries is Alchemy on gas. That's the name of my laptop.
So we've shown how to connect your iPad to an ad hoc network on your desktop or laptop before, and that's what's going on here, right?
Yes. So the iPad is wirelessly sending MIDI information to the laptop.
And vice versa.
Yeah, it's effectively the same, but instead of the sounds being inside the iPad, the sounds are now coming from the laptop. So I've got at the moment set up like a drum sound. And I've made a little loop. I'm just going to start that little loop.
That's enabled to live.
Yeah. And then we can see how this remix pad's really cool.
So can you run Alchemy remotely and as an app at the same time?
It's either standalone mode or it's the control mode. So it's one or the other. But what I should mention really is when you are using it in controller mode, not only does it control the full version of Alchemy desktop software, but there's actually a Alchemy free version for the desktop software.
Oh, kind of like a reactor player kind of idea.
Yes, whereby you can you get a bunch of sounds to start off with. You can expand that library with the you can build that library with the expansion packs. So for instance, if you're into dubstep, you could get the Alchemy free desktop version, you could buy the Dubstep library, and then you could then control it from here. Now, here's the interesting thing. If you buy the library on the desktop version, then the library is then available to you on the mobile version. It's not the full set of sounds, but you get maybe 50 or so of the signature sounds from within that library.
So what does a library generally contain? Like a bank of 128, that kind of...
Let's have a look now. So the Dubstep library on here, for instance, if we were to look into it, we can see that there's about 50 or so patches, whereas the desktop version may be a couple of hundred. And also with the Pro version, I should mention that if you do make a sound on the desktop version, you can export it and bring it into the iPad as well. Now, I've not seen that level of integration before. So something else that's really cool is that we can bring loops that we've created in iPad apps. I can import them into this kind of player here. So let me just show you that there. So if, there's a bunch of built-in loops as well, by the way, sort of like drum loops, something to play over. But I can bring loops that I've made. Now, I've made this loop in DM1, the drum machine. I bring this in so we can hear it is. And now I can now play over the top of that. I can record. So I'm going to go into record mode here. Here we go. Okay, so now if I play that back, it recorded all my movements.
Good bit of knowledge then.
Yeah.
Dubstep king. So you can tweak that as well.
Yeah. So now, when I say I'm happy with that, I can take the loop that I've recorded, copy it to the pasteboard.
That's audio copy paste, right?
Yeah. I'm going to call that dubstep bassline. I'm going to open up Loopy. And
that's by a tasty pixel, by the way.
And we've got that drum loop that I recorded in on one slot. Now if I click and go import, then here's the general. There it is. So I can bring it in. So now I've got
all right, so you could effectively use Alchemy as a sort of on-the-fly sound source for creating overdubs in something like Loopy or whatever it was that you wanted.
Yes, exactly. You know, so it's a little bit of a fractured process, but it's still pretty cool though for music making on the go. You know, we can build up quite complicated loops.
So that's all pretty cool, but I'd quite like to see and listen to a few more of the onboard sounds because they sounded pretty good to me.
Yeah, and there is one more trick up the sleeve which I haven't mentioned. I'm going to press the hold button and I'll play a chord. Now, as we mentioned, as you move this around, we can seek out new sounds and textures. But rather than using my finger to drag it around, there's another feature we can enable. Hidden in the menu, if we just scroll it up, there's a little extra part there. If we go into extra, we can turn on tilt, and I'm going to turn on inertia as well. Play a chord. Now I can roll this ball around. It's quite fun. It's like controlling those ball bearing mazes, you know, because it's got inertia. So
you get kind of momentum.
Yeah. But like for very it just becomes almost like a game, you know. I want to roll it so I'll roll it to number 6 now. bit novelty, but I think there is some kind of practical uses of it as well.
And that's working in X and Y axis and in acceleration as well, right?
That's right, yeah. So, I mean, you know, I can, if I flick it fast, it'll roll, or if I tilt it slowly, it'll kind of go slowly.
So I'm getting the feeling that perhaps you've fallen a little bit in love with Alchemy Mobile, right?
Absolutely. I love the integration of the software, the way that it controls the desktop software, but also the quality of the patches is just...
So how many patches does it actually come with?
The free version comes with something like 50 or so, I can't remember exactly, but of course you can expand that then with the libraries from an in-app purchase.
So in fact, if we've got the pricing here, Alchemy Synth Mobile is free. The in-app upgrade, you can upgrade to the Pro upgrade for $14.99, which is what, around about a tenner?
Yeah, I think it's about £10.49.
And then those are the individual sound packs that you can add to it. You know, like Dubstep Mobile. They're about what?
$4.99. About, I think they're about £2.99.
Right. For again, sort of around 50 patches or so.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was Alchemy Mobile by Camel Audio, available in the App Store now. And this has been Sonic Touch episode 12.
So please don't forget, you know, comments are greatly appreciated. So
yeah, leave them below. If you've got any suggestions for the show, any applications you want us to take a look at, leave them in the comments. We do check them and we respond as much as we possibly can. So thanks again. This has been episode 12, Sonic Touch. We will try and keep up the frequency a little bit higher in the future. Thanks for watching. See you later.